This stadium is quiet right now, but in the summer of 2026, venues exactly like this one across Canada will be deafening. For the first time in history, Canada is co-hosting the FIFA World Cup, bringing the absolute pinnacle of global soccer to their home soil. Being a host nation comes with a distinct advantage. You get an automatic ticket to play in the tournament, skipping the multi-year qualification process entirely. Earning the respect of the global soccer community, however, is not guaranteed. You still have to prove you actually belong on that pitch. That proof has to come immediately, in their opening match against Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is a seasoned European squad that is highly capable of dismantling an unprepared team in front of millions of viewers. In a standard group stage, teams often have a slight margin for error to absorb a draw, but for a host nation, the pressure is immediate. A nation of nearly 40 million people expects a definitive result in these specific 90 minutes. To understand why this opening whistle carries so much weight, we have to look at the two forces currently colliding: a legacy of decades of failure and a recent golden renaissance that finally gave the nation a fighting chance. Canada's relationship with the World Cup is historically painful. They made their debut back in 1986. They played 3 matches, scored 0 goals, and were swiftly sent home by opponents who simply outclassed them. This chart shows the timeline of Canada's World Cup appearances. After 1986, the timeline goes completely dark. For 36 years, through 9 consecutive tournament cycles, Canada failed to qualify. In the modern era of international sports, a drought of that length for a wealthy nation is a massive statistical anomaly. They finally broke the curse and returned to the tournament in Qatar in 2022, but getting there was their only victory. They lost all 3 of their group stage matches, learning that simply qualifying doesn't mean you have the tactical depth to advance. Yet despite 0 historical wins at the tournament, the domestic support has never wavered. Canadian fans consistently show up with an explosive passion, packing stadiums and creating an intense environment even when the odds are against them. Every player on the 2026 squad knows this history. Those decades of missing out, the 0-win record, they form a heavy psychological baggage. The current team has to explicitly overcome those ghosts in front of their own fans. Fortunately, the roster taking the pitch in 2026 is widely considered Canada's golden generation. They are completely different from the teams of the past. Their modern tactical identity relies on blistering pace. They are built to launch devastating counterattacks, led by playmakers who compete in the top European leagues week in and week out. This chart shows the progression threshold. It plots historical host nations based on their pre-tournament global ranking against whether they survived the group stage. If a host's metrics fall below this line, they almost always get eliminated early. When we plug in the current numbers, Canada sits exactly here. They are directly on the razor's edge of that progression line. Statistically, they have a 50-50 probability of advancing. Their biggest liability is their backline. While their attackers are world-class, their defensive depth drops off. When matched against seasoned international squads that know how to pick apart a defense for 90 full minutes, that lack of depth becomes dangerous. To offset that weakness, they have one massive variable in their favor: the home field multiplier. By co-hosting alongside the US and Mexico, Canada avoids grueling travel schedules and feeds off the energy of entirely pro-Canadian crowds. This is a squad with the highest athletic ceiling in Canadian history, but the data makes it clear: if they make even a single tactical mistake, they won't make it to the knockout rounds. Which brings us right back to that opening match against Bosnia and Herzegovina. If you were building a team specifically designed to exploit Canada's vulnerabilities, it would look exactly like them. This diagram illustrates Bosnia's typical setup. They utilize a highly disciplined, compact defensive block. They sit deep and clog the midfield, deliberately choking off the open lanes that Canada's fast attackers rely on. If Canada's offense gets neutralized and they lose this game, the math becomes grim. Historically, dropping the first match craters a host nation's momentum. As this probability tree shows, a loss in match 1 drops their odds of group stage survival to near 0. A decisive victory changes the math. 3 points on opening day provides a psychological buffer for the matches ahead and secures a statistically backed path toward the knockout rounds. It's easy to get lost in the data and the tactics, But we have to remember what is actually sitting at the end of this gauntlet, the ultimate prize in the sport. In 2026, Canada takes the field as host, with the eyes of the country on them. Their standing in the sport and the legacy of this generation now depends on what happens in these first 90 minutes.